I couldn't find very much information on the internet regarding what MBTI types the Voltron characters were, so I thought I should attempt to type them myself. This will be my personal series throughout the other videos we're making. Today, I'll start with everybody's favorite Sharpshooter. Of course, he's the only Sharpshooter in the gang. Whoosh, it's us. If you don't already know, MBTI stands for Myers Briggs Type Indicator. It's a personality test composed of 16 different possibilities with either extroverted or introverted, sensing or intuitive, feeling or thinking, and judging or perceiving. For time's sake, I won't go into too much detail about it, but you should definitely check it out if you haven't already. I'm certainly no expert regarding how to type people, but I've done a lot of reading, and I believe that I might have figured out Lance's Myers-Briggs personality type. Feel free to comment what you think Lance's personality type is. I'll be using this handy-dandy list here to first determine whether Lance is extroverted or introverted. And we'll keep going down the list. After that, I'll be examining the functions to make sure that what I've diagnosed lines up with the personality. So first, extroverted or introverted. I feel like this one is pretty obvious, but to make sure that this is done right, I'll use evidence to support my claims. Lance has high energy, and he likes to talk. A lot. We often see him using his high energy to entertain the other paladins and even the audience. There were many times Lance's bouncy, frantic behavior turned over my giggle box. The things he says can also be attributed to his high energy, but is also closely linked to the next 2 points. He thinks out loud, and he also acts before he thinks. This might be how he's able to pilot Red. More than once he just spoke his mind without thinking, and we got a soft reprimand from Shiro. In Season 3, as much as he wanted to pilot Black, I think he wants more of a public role, but then again I think he does enjoy working behind the scenes. Even though we don't have much evidence regarding Lance's powers of concentration, I kind of believe that he might have good concentration skills when he's actually trying. We haven't really seen the paladins do a lot of things that you would do at a normal job, so whether Lance likes to do a lot of things at once or prefers to do one thing at a time could be debated, but he's definitely outgoing and enthusiastic, so I believe it's safe to say that Lance is extroverted. Now, we know he's extroverted. On to the cognitive function stack. The function stack is hard to explain, so I'll leave a link in the description. Extroverted sensing lives and thrives in the moment. People who lead with extroverted sensing are often naturally athletic, highly impulsive, and enjoy ever-changing stimuli. They place a high value on the finer things in life. Extroverted sensors aren't usually interested in over-analyzing a situation. They simply see what they want and go for it. These types tend to exude a natural sense of confidence, as they are usually quite sure of who they are and what they want. Though Lance does seem to portray a facade of confidence, especially around Keith, we know that he actually has doubts about his own self-worth and abilities as a paladin. He lives in the moment, not thinking about future implications as much as an intuitive. And although sensors usually tend to overanalyze situations, extroverted sensing simply sees what they want and do it. He does, however, in tense-ish situations, consider the factors around him and makes a decision. So Lance is an extroverted sensor, but what about thinking feeling? When making decisions, feelers think about how it would make them feel. Thinkers decide on how the decision would affect the world around them. I believe Lance is probably a feeler. He tends to appear more friendly than reserved when meeting new people. He also tends to be more convinced by his feelings, although he can be persuaded by rational arguments. Where Keith and Pidge are extremely honest and direct, Lance and Hunkt are tactful and tend to watch their words. And, for the most part, Lance tends to avoid arguments and conflicts, except where Keith is involved. One reason why Lance doesn't like Keith is because Keith, inadvertently, jabs at Lance's insecurities. And if Lance was a thinker, I feel like he probably wouldn't be as bothered by Keith's existence. But other than his fallouts with Keith, he really does value harmony and coexistence. In Escape from Betatraz, we know that Lance is motivated by appreciation rather than achievement. So far, we know Lance is an ESF... On to judging perceiving. I'm going to read off each point of the perceiver-judger traits that fit Lance. He's playful and casual, less aware of time, may run late. Play first, work later. seeks closure, questions the need for many rules, likes to keep his plans flexible, wants the freedom to be spontaneous. So according to my analysis, Lance is most like an ESFP. According to the function stack, the two dominant functions for an ESFP is Extroverted Sensing and Introverted Feeling. The next two functions for the ESFP are the functions that are recessive or not as strong as the first two, but they are evident in his personality. The next two functions are Extroverted Thinking, or TE, and Introverted Intuition, or NI. I feel pretty confident in my results for typing Lance. Feel free to comment your opinions, questions, statements, etc., etc. I'll provide information about the ESFP type in the MBTI info if you want to read up about it. I'll be typing each of the Voltron characters in a series. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you were able to understand what I was talking about. My next video will be all about Hunk. So thanks again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Bye!